Hey, what's happening, people? Wyatt Hurts here, back with a little more Battlefield 4 multiplayer action, getting it up here on the channel. This time you saw it right there. We're playing some Conquest on Paracel Storm. This was a 32-man server, and this map is a great little map. It's really focused on infantry work, but a lot of the battle takes place at sea or in the air. So we're looking at boats, we're looking at, jets are out there, as well as, little birds. In fact, I don't know if the jets are actually circling the skies in a 32-man server. That may be kind of 48, 64-man server specific, I'm not really sure. But you can see, you saw I was kind of waiting. I was hoping that that A objective would be captured a little bit sooner, just so I had a spawn point on the shores, on the islands where the objectives are, rather than spawning back at the base. I opted just to hop in here with one of my squad mates, and I'm not even bothering getting on the gun. I'm planning to bail out of here soon, and really planning to get out of here after watching this awful display of boating. I don't know how he managed to hit that rock. I don't know how he managed to do it. And I gave it a little head shake, and that was purely for the camera, purely for you guys, hoping that I would get this round up here on the channel, that it would be worthy of getting up here on the channel, and it was, So here I finally bailed out of that boat, and it was a good thing I came on shore here. I found this sniper posted up in the tower, kind of guarding this pathway for the objective. He comes rushing right up here, gets up in my face. I had done a little bit of damage. The weapon I'm carrying right here, the AK-5C, I would do a full kit rundown, but my ground work, my infantry work is so limited this game. A lot of it takes place in both the sky and on the water. Okay, so hopefully you guys will look forward to that. But it is the AK-5C, the same weapon I was using last round I got up here on the channels in that Siege of Shanghai match. That domination match, just a few different modifications, different paint jobs on there. The laser sight's gone and been swapped on, or what I've put on instead is that 2x magnifier. Different sight on there. I think it's a hollow sight, but don't quote me on it. That's what it looks like when I'm looking at it right here. A pretty nice entry into this area. Playing it smart, playing a little cautiously, checking my corners, getting down on my knees when I need to. And that guy really did startle me, stepping out there. I'm surprised he didn't get the jump on me. But as soon as I saw him, I made really quick work of him. But and continue, you noticed I had a little lean going on there right at that pillar, put a little fire that guy's way. Finally I get into a nice position here. I feel well concealed. I'm down on my knees and managed to go in for the kill on at least one of them over there, and I had done my part thinning out the herd. They haven't all been taken out, but we've thinned them down enough where we now carry the majority, or have the majority of the forces here at the B objective, and we're able to claim it for the team. But there's still some opposition in the area, and this will be the end of me. I go up here just kind of foolishly, almost in an inexperienced way. I go charging in there for that guy who had ducked into the, ducked into that one room, and that was actually leading into a stairwell. I think that was probably a second guy that came out on top, but I probably should have just held my ground back there, and just tried to put up some fire as the targets revealed themselves to me, But anyway, you see in here, I figured I'd wait a few seconds to see if that little bird actually came back to life, respawned, and it just worked out nicely that it did. I didn't see it circling the skies, so I figured it wasn't long from respawning. And you can see they have the advantage there right now. I think they're holding both E, C, and D, where we have A and B, and B, when I died out there, was in question. So they're looking pretty strong right now. They have the advantage in the numbers as well, leading by about 70 tickets. And I get in here now. This objective, this E objective, this burned out aircraft carrier, this wrecked aircraft carrier, really a valuable objective. I highly recommend getting at least a boat out here in the water to kind of always have its eye on the E objective. The E objective, because it's out of the way, it makes it valuable, because it's a little bit of a journey to get out there. But also, it does provide a second little bird. A little bird will spawn on the decks of that air burned, the scorched face of that aircraft carrier. So, damn, it's worth having E, because with the second bird in the skies, you really can dominate from the air, with the second one up there. But anyway, you can see I'm stuck in this battle, and this guy has been swarming me, and then all of a sudden it looks like he's drifted way across the map, and here I am foolishly targeting him, and of course I'm taking some fire. He's still right on top of me, I see him on radar now. There he is, dropping in, putting some fire my way. I mean, I'm amazed that I managed to survive his assault at this point. And finally, I get one of my heat seekers to hit, followed up with a little bit of that 25mm cannon fire, and he's forced to bail, you know. So we come out on top, and it was certainly, we came out on top because of some help from Rad Wayne, who had been doing some repairing from that seat that he's sitting in right now. Now, I tried to give him the kill. You know, I heard him firing at the guy who was parachuting to safety, and I thought, you know what, I'll try and line up, stabilize things, let Rad Wayne go in for the kill with his gun. But you know, he was stuck in a reload when I actually tried to do it, and then we started taking some fire from the ground. You know, what felt like an RPG, maybe some law missile coming in. You know, a law rocket coming my way. Nothing that was actually going to lock me, but something that was, you know, if it hit, it would be the end of me. You know. The bird right now, I mean, now this is what I'm talking about. They held that E objective, the little bird spawned down on the deck, and I'm pretty sure the pilot who had initially parachuted to safety hopped back into this sucker now. So I'm forced to take out a second, or try to take out a second bird of his. The great thing is that Rad Wayne was doing a lot of repairing for me, and the pilot on the other side had an engineer doing some repairing for him as well. And in this kind of brilliant exchange, I killed his engineer, he killed mine, and then, but of course, I did have to finally bail. I was down to 2% health, and it gets even worse. I'm forced to die because I wasn't just dealing with that little bird in the skies. I was dealing with this guy posted up on the turret of his rib boat down here. Putting a lot of fire my way, but at least while I was battling for E over here, the team amazingly has come in and managed to claim all of the rest of the objectives scattered throughout the island. So really, it's just E left now. And you know what? It's time. After being put down, after being tag teamed from both the air and the sea, I decided, you know what? With this boat, this little warship available, which is a really powerful vehicle out there on a map like this, on a map like Hainan Resort, it can do a lot of damage fast. Let me tell you, I haven't spent a lot of time. Well, prior to this map. Prior to this match in particular, I hadn't spent a lot of time in these warships, very little time in fact, and in even less time piloting the suckers, you know, or sailing the suckers, right? But you know what, after this match in particular, I think I'm going to be spending quite a bit more time in them when they're available to me, you know. I may just trade in my wings for a pair of flippers, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a great run here. In fact, you're looking at the kind of the time left in the video, the rest of the time is spent in this boat, on this lap, and me just dominating these seas, you know, and it's a great time. Taking down both the birds, you know, infantrymen ashore, and put down quite a few boats along the way. Now you can see I've decided, you know what, I'm coming back here. I'm going to take this objective. It's the last thing I do. I don't want them having that little bird. I was pretty disappointed that we couldn't get the job done the first time. Myself and Rad Wayne, of course, who was really instrumental in keeping us alive as long as we were, you know, because I didn't have a great performance up there in the skies. You know, managed to put down one bird, managed to follow the next one with a little help from his friend at sea. And I'm looking to, you know, well, I'm going to leave my mark on these waters, let me tell you, matey. Yes, they called me, by the end of this, they will be calling me the Scourge of the Seven Seas, I'll tell you. Let me tell you. And called me Blackbeard Hurts, yes. I don't know what kind of accent this is supposed to be, but something's coming out. Something's coming out. Felt right for the water. Yes. Arr, arr. Anyway, you can see the weapon I'm using here on this, the secondary weapon is actually, it's like, I think it was called passive radar. I don't know how that makes sense. The description of the thing is actually that it's a surface-to-air missile, you know, so it's great for locking enemy birds, enemy jets, if you can hold the lock. That's the downside of it. You have to hold the lock initially, and you have to hold the lock after the missile's been fired as well, otherwise it may go astray, you know. The primary weapon, which I'm really enjoying the feel of them, are these 25mm cannons. And I do a lot of damage quickly with these suckers. You can see that an enemy boat, you know, another warship has, had tried to dock at this E objective, and actually they've captured it again. Amazingly, I just cannot get my grip on this objective. They keep showing up here, you know, so the other team is well aware that this is an ideal objective to hold as well. Now, when you're putting fire on these boats, I find, you know, aim your fire at the rear of the boat initially. Get rid of those additional gunners that the helmsman has with them, you know, the guy that may be putting on repairs, you know, thin the herd of them, you know. Take out that squad, take out what you can, and then focus all your attention on just sinking that ship. Finally, I've got a second teammate over here. Finally, we managed to claim E for ourselves. Hopefully, he'll see that little bird. That little bird will spawn here shortly, and he'll take it and put it to use in the skies where it should be, in our favor, in our grasp, you know. under our control, and he'll be putting it to use. Now, you can see there are several objectives. I mean, we can claim all of these objectives from the ocean. The only one that we can't, I think, is B. I think B doesn't actually have... it's too far inland to actually pull up on shore in one of these ships and try and capture it, or help to capture it. Now this boat sailing on by, you know, in his haste, in him turning around to try and keep me targeted, he beached the sucker, and that's his mistake, not mine. That's his mistake. But I'm gonna certainly take advantage of it. No survivors, sucker. No survivors. I see you try to swim to safety. It ain't gonna happen. However, well, I shouldn't say no survivors, because I know one guy did manage to run over top of the hill to safety. But you know what? Fine, he can. There he is right there, and that's what I'm saying. No survivors. I'm gonna put you down before it's all said and done. At least I weakened him, and I'm circling back around here, coming out a little bit wide. I was gonna try and turn in on the inside of this island, but I thought it best just to circle around wide at that point. You know, I didn't want to have the same thing happen to me that happened to my foe, and I didn't want to beach this ship, because I'm really putting it to use. You know, now I start to kind of just stalk it. You know, I'm gaining a little confidence here in this boat. I'm enjoying being at sea, and I just kind of start stalking my prey. Now I'm lurking in the shadows in this sucker, hiding underneath the bridge, looking for any type of movement on shore. You see a little bit of damage. This bridge took a little bit of damage. I don't know what that was all about. Now the one thing you're going to see here shortly is, well, you're going to see the storm pick up. It always picks up. I do believe it always kicks in at some point on Paracel Storm. I'm not sure what triggers it. It may just be a random event. It may be that it at a certain specific time in the match, depending on the type of match and the size of the server, that it will kick in. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I do know that the storm always seems to kick in here at Paracel Storm before the match winds down. You know. So here I am, I'm back out here at E. They had managed to cap the objective, or take it away from us anyway, and you can see the little bird circling in here as well. Look, just for a little bit of air support if it was needed, but it's not. You know, you got Hertz on the water at the helm of this warship, doing some serious damage, and you can see I've got an enemy warship coming in behind me. Never a good thing, but I kick it into overdrive here. You know, I go sailing through this little pass around this island, make this quick little journey around it. Now I've lost him. He doesn't know where I've gone to. You know, he's lost me, or I've lost him, and here he is looking for me, and I get the jump on him, and beautifully just start decimating his ship, decimating it. Take out his crew first, you know, and just destroyed them with those 25mm cannons, and just start pelting him with these shells, you know. And right there, just as he's about to get me lined up, I sneak in behind him and get onto his other side, making it that much more difficult for him to actually get the job done and just finish that ship. And you can see now the seas, they're swelling, the waters, they're getting choppy, the waves are getting big, you know, and it's going to make for a little bit more, well, a little bit more of an exciting boat journey out here on the map. You can see now I'm heading towards A. You can see the enemy, they've taken control of it. I figure my services are required out here at the tip of this island, and I get out here and just help out a little bit. I don't think I do much. Actually, I do take out one guy out there on the ground, as I saw him, and that's me doing the spotting. When you're seeing all these arrows coming up, it's me doing the spotting. God damn it, guys. I mean, it really annoys me that there's not enough spotting going on. It's like I have to say it at the start of every round. Guys, remember to spot. Remember to spot. It helps your team out. You know, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only guy out there playing this game that has a hard time finding enemies in these great maps, in these great kind of these covered areas, whether it be in buildings, in the shadows, or in the foliage. But I have a hard time spotting them. When you get a spot up on a guy, when you put that orange triangle above a guy's head, it helps out the team considerably. So for any of you guys that are playing this game, make sure you're doing it. It's not a difficult thing to do. I try and get them in most of the time right before I start taking a shot, as I'm lining up the shot on a guy, just in case I get put down. I want the team to know where that enemy is. I want him to suffer for what he's done, you know. Now right there you saw I'm putting a little fire up. I had been putting a little fire up at that turbine. Now that turbine will trigger a levolution event, the one big levolution event on this game, or on this map, at the base of that turbine. If you notice, there was a burned out ship, and we'll be getting to that here shortly. This is a great little great little exchange I have. I find a nest of them in here at this sea objective. Now after helping to initially cap it on the other side of the water, or on the other side of the island, right here, I come around on the back side of here, and on the back side of this building, and start putting some fire in here, and they're not happy. They're putting a lot of fire back my way as well, so I need to try and make as quick a work possible of these guys as I can, you know. And I am, and I now have a gunner in here as well. I've got a guy, Mordanius, who is trying to put in some repairs. It looks like he's having a difficult time finding the actual location to get those repairs going. You can see I'm suffering some serious damage. I popped the smoke, put the smoke screen up, and disappear into a little bit of safety after doing some considerable damage on the foes that were in that building back there, you know. And finally, I think just as I settle in here behind the island for a little bit of cover, Mordanius has found the sweet spot and finally does start to get the repairs kicked in, you know. And that's part of the battle when you're the engineer sitting in those seats where you can issue repairs. It's finding that right spot to actually trigger them, especially in the birds. You know, I was trying to put in repairs for somebody in one of the birds at some point, and I couldn't find the right location in Battlefield 4. I knew where they all were in Battlefield 3, but I could not find the right location to actually get those repairs going. Either that or it was just glitched out and it wouldn't do it for me. Anyway, here we go. We're back at this turbine. I'm trying to get this thing to I'm trying to trigger this event before the round ends. I'm putting a lot of fire up there. I thought that's where you had to shoot it, was up there at the top where the flames are kind of spreading. But in fact, if you look at the base, you can see it's warped and cracked at the base of that turbine, right where the boat is resting. And finally, I put a few shots in there, and I'm pretty sure that's what you want to shoot at. It takes down the turbine, it loosens up the ghost ship, and sends it ashore, and you can see it will crash right into that sea objective that I'm driving by right now. And it alters the terrain a little bit. However, we won't quite get to it. Just as I take down Shadow Fall there in his on his little jet ski, put an end to that assault. You can see the final game screen was my triggered levolution event, so everybody is watching that as the ghost ship comes barreling ashore, but we don't actually get to see the effects. So it was a nice little end to the show, you know, nonetheless. Anyway, a great run for me at sea there. Really enjoyed that, and you'll see. Look at all this. Look at all this XP I got on this boat. This really goes to show you how little use I've actually gotten out of them until this match was played. And I get a handful of unlocks here. I did a lot of work. 20 boat kills, new personal record. A steersman, 20 boat kills there up at the top, and goddamn, it's still going. The new round is about to start, and I'm still getting unlocks for this goddamn boat. Finally, there we go. Yeah, we put an end to it. So quite a bit of work done, you know. And like I said, I may just be trading in my wings for a set of flippers. I really did enjoy sailing that boat here, and when they are available, I'm going to be looking to get in them. I find them much more devastating than the little birds are in the game. You know, the little birds, as much as I love to fly, it's just tough to keep them up in the air. There's a lot of things that can put them down and clip your wings real quickly. You know, especially when you're getting overwhelmed in these matches, which usually is happening to air vehicles, right? Anyway, let's look at the numbers. 24-2, big performer, great round for me. Really enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Let's get an honorable mention out there to Depleted on the other side with a 14-9. Good numbers there. And maybe Edifier there with a 13-4, and possibly Fist Full of Steel, 11-2. Those really were the big performers, the only guys up there in the double digits that were still in the room when I finally did get back in the lobby anyway. So guys, again, hopefully enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll leave a like for that great naval work I was putting into play there. Hopefully you'll leave a comment, let me know what you thought about that map, that game, that match, the action, whatever. Just or just say hello, say what's up, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and you haven't already. Now, until next time, guys, until tomorrow's SVM Blacklist gameplay, or until 2 days from now, and we get that next Battlefield 4 content up. Remember why it hurts. Whenever you check back in here. Until then, you better remember, don't ever forget. Anyway, I'll see y'all later.